Sensacional, Ronaldinho faz, Ronaldinho!
Ronaldinho, the genius who played with a smile, on a humid evening in Porto Alegre, Brazil, in a humble neighborhood, lit by flickering street lights, a barefoot boy danced with a ball. His movements were unorthodox, his skill magnetic. No crowd surrounded him, no stadium roared, but something about this boy felt extraordinary. That boy was Ronaldinho, a footballing magician destined to change the world, not just with his feet but with his smile. This is the story of Ronaldinho, a genius who didn't just play the game but transformed it into art, spreading joy in a way few could ever imagine. A child of joy and tragedy. Born Ronaldo da Moura on March 21, 1980, Ronaldinho grew up in a poor neighborhood in Porto Alegre. His father, João, worked at a shipyard, while his mother, Dona Miguelina, was a nurse. Their home was modest, but it was filled with laughter, love, and above all, football. Ronaldinho idolized his older brother, Roberto Assis, who was a talented footballer. Together, they dreamed of escaping poverty, using their passion for football as a beacon of hope. Roberto's success became an inspiration, and Ronaldinho often followed him to training sessions, soaking up the atmosphere of the game he loved. But at just 8 years old, his world shattered. His father suffered a fatal heart attack while swimming in their home pool. João had been the family's anchor, the one who first introduced Ronaldinho to the joy of football. Losing him left a void that no goal or trophy could ever fill. Yet, amidst the heartbreak, young Ronaldinho found solace in the ball. "Football became my escape," he later said. "It was where I felt alive, where I could smile again." Each kick was a tribute to his father, a way to keep his memory alive. From that moment, Ronaldinho wasn't just playing for himself. He was playing for something greater. He spent countless hours practicing on the streets, barefoot, with a smile that masked his pain. His creativity with the ball wasn't taught. It was born from emotion, from trying to find joy again. Friends and coaches marveled at his ability to turn grief into art on the pitch. The loss had hardened him, but it also gave him purpose, to make the game beautiful in his father's name. And even in his youngest days, it was clear. Ronaldinho didn't just play football, he danced with it. The streets were his classroom. The streets of Porto Alegre became Ronaldinho's playground. With a makeshift ball, he honed his skills, playing against anyone willing to challenge him. His style was different, playful, unpredictable, almost theatrical. He didn't just want to win, he wanted to entertain. Every match was a performance. He learned to control the ball in tight spaces, outthink opponents twice his size, and improvise with moves no one had ever seen before. Friends and neighbors often gathered just to watch him play, their cheers ringing out as he pulled off yet another impossible trick. At 10 years old, Ronaldinho gained national attention when he scored all 23 goals in a youth match. The feat was unheard of, and suddenly, the name Ronaldinho was on everyone's lips. Scouts began circling, eager to sign the boy whose feet seemed to have a mind of their own. By the time he joined Grêmio's youth academy, his reputation was already growing. Coaches marveled at his vision and creativity, but what set him apart was his joy. You could see it in his eyes, a former coach recalled. Football wasn't just a sport to him, it was happiness. And that happiness was infectious, spreading to everyone who watched him play. Local reporters began calling him the magician, a nickname that stuck. He brought samba rhythm to football, combining finesse with fun in a way no one had seen. Older players of the academy often stayed after training just to watch him work the ball. Sponsors and youth brands soon reached out, sensing a future superstar in the making. Ronaldinho wasn't just rising, he was redefining what it meant to be a young football talent. A star is born. In 1998, Ronaldinho made his debut for Grêmio's senior team at just 18. Fans were skeptical. Another teenager with promise, they thought. But then they saw him play. His first touch was electric, his movements like poetry in motion. In one memorable match against Internacional, he humiliated defenders with a series of dazzling dribbles and scored a goal that left everyone in awe. The media began to take notice. Headlines declared him the next big thing in Brazilian football, drawing comparisons to legends like Pelé and Zico. For Ronaldinho, it was both a blessing and a burden. He thrived under the spotlight, but knew that expectations could be unforgiving. Europe began to take notice. Scouts from big clubs whispered his name, and soon Paris Saint-Germain came calling. But even as the offers poured in, Ronaldinho remained grounded. He often spoke about how his family and the memories of his father kept him humble. In 2001, Ronaldinho left Brazil, ready to conquer Europe. It was a bittersweet farewell for fans of Gremio, who had witnessed the rise of a player they knew was destined for greatness. As he boarded the plane to Paris, he carried with him not just his dreams, but the hopes of an entire nation. Before leaving, he visited his childhood neighborhood one last time, playing barefoot with local kids. He gave away jerseys, signed balls, and reminded them to always play with joy. To his mother, he promised to stay true to himself, no matter how bright the lights became. In the locker room, teammates recalled how he danced through training sessions, still smiling like a boy in Porto Alegre. Ronaldinho's journey to Paris wasn't just a transfer, it was the beginning of a global legacy. Paris and the rise of a magician. Arriving in Paris, Ronaldinho faced challenges. The European game was faster, tougher, and less forgiving. At first, he struggled. Critics were quick to label him as another overhyped Brazilian talent. But Ronaldinho had a way of silencing doubters through sheer magic on the pitch. At PSG, Ronaldinho started doing what he did best, turning matches into performances. Whether it was his elastico, no-look passes, or audacious free kicks, he left defenders bewildered and fans mesmerized. He wasn't just playing football, he was redefining it. His performances lit up the Parc des Princes, and soon the media began to praise his flair and imagination. The once skeptical fans now chanted his name, their voices a testament to the love they had for the magician in their midst. Opponents often admitted they feared facing him, not just for his skill, but because he was humiliated with a smile. In training, teammates said he made the extraordinary feel ordinary, as if magic were routine. He brought joy to a league often criticized for its rigidity, turning routine matches into theater. Even rival coaches couldn't help but applaud his artistry, calling him a gift to football. His legend in Paris was growing, but greater stages awaited, and his heart was already leaning toward Catalonia. But Paris was just the beginning. Ronaldinho's journey was far from over. As whispers of a transfer grew louder, one name emerged above all others: Barcelona. For Ronaldinho, it was an opportunity to write the next chapter of his story, a chapter that would change football forever. Barcelona, where legends are forged. In 2003, Ronaldinho signed with SC Barcelona. It was a club desperate for revival, a team searching for its identity. Many doubted if Ronaldinho could handle the pressure, but those doubts didn't last long. In his very first season, Ronaldinho became the heartbeat of Barcelona. His dribbles defied logic, his goals were jaw-dropping, and his infectious energy lifted the entire team. By 2005, Barcelona was back on top, winning La Liga. That same year, Ronaldinho won the FIFA World Player of the Year and the Ballon d'Or. One moment defined his legacy: a match against Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu. Ronaldinho tore through Madrid's defense, scoring 2 goals that left their fans stunned. But then something extraordinary happened. The Madrid faithful stood and applauded him, a gesture of pure respect for a rival genius. He bowed his head in gratitude, humbled by the rare honor from bitter rivals. It was a moment that transcended sport, a symbol of football's power to unite through beauty. Teammates later said that Ronaldinho brought back joy, not just to the club, but to the game itself. Young players like Messi watched him closely, learning that greatness was as much about spirit as skill. Under Ronaldinho's leadership, Barcelona didn't just win, they enchanted, inspired, and transformed. The smile that hid the struggles. Ronaldinho's brilliance seemed unstoppable, but behind the scenes, cracks were beginning to form. The pressures of fame, the demands of constant excellence, and his carefree lifestyle started to take their toll. By 2008, his performances began to dip. Injuries, fatigue, and a lack of discipline on and off the pitch led to whispers that his best days were behind him. It was a painful fall for someone who had brought so much joy to the game. "I was smiling on the outside," Ronaldinho later admitted, "but inside, I was struggling." Nightlife and late parties became more frequent, pulling him away from the rhythm of professional football. Coaches and club officials tried to intervene, but his love for the game began to wane. The magic was still there in flashes, but the consistency that once defined him had faded. Critics who once praised his genius now questioned his commitment. Yet, even in decline, Ronaldinho remained a beloved figure, his smile still capable of lighting up stadiums, even if dimmed by personal battles. Redemption and reinvention. In 2008, Ronaldinho moved to AC Milan, determined to prove he still had magic left. Though not as dominant as his Barcelona years, he showed flashes of brilliance, helping Milan win Serie A in 2011. But Ronaldinho's greatest comeback came not in Europe, but back in Brazil. At Atlético Mineiro, he led the team to its first ever Copa Libertadores title in 2013. It was a moment of redemption, a reminder that genius never truly fades. His smile returned, and with it, the joy that had always defined his game. The legacy of Joga Bonito. Ronaldinho retired in 2018, leaving behind a legacy that transcended football. He wasn't just a player who won titles and scored goals. He was an artist who made the game beautiful. He inspired a generation of players, from Neymar to Lionel Messi, who called him the man who changed Barcelona's history. Fans around the world remember him not just for what he did on the pitch, but for how he made them feel. Ronaldinho taught us that football isn't just about winning. It's about joy, creativity, and the magic of self-expression. Ronaldinho's story is a reminder that genius isn't just measured by trophies or accolades. It's measured by the moments that take our breath away, the memories that stay with us, and the joy that transcends generations. Even now, when we think of Ronaldinho, we think of that infectious smile, the twinkle in his eye, and the way he made the impossible look effortless. He didn't just play football, he made us fall in love with it all over again. And in the hearts of millions, Ronaldinho will always be the boy who played with a smile. What's your favorite Ronaldinho moment? Was it the no-look passes, the impossible free kicks, or the sheer joy he brought to every match? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to watch more incredible stories of football legends. Thanks for watching. Stay inspired, stay joyful, and let's celebrate the genius who played with a smile together. What's your favorite Ronaldinho moment? Was it the no-look passes, the impossible free kicks, or the sheer joy he brought to every match? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to watch more incredible stories of football legends. Thanks for watching. Stay inspired, stay joyful, and let's celebrate the genius who played with a smile together.